of older persons' rights. What has government done to ensure that our elders are really not left behind? Of course, given the fact that there is a lot of things that are coming up within the country and the whole world at large. For example, technology, we shall be understanding what the government is doing to ensure that older persons are not left behind in that regard, but also what have they done to ensure that they also benefit from the different government projects that are initiated within the country. My name once again is JETHRO KASAIGI. I do have the State Minister for Elderly Affairs, Honorable Gidudu Mafari Dominic, as well as Mr. Prosper Mhumza from the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. Honorable, let me start with you. Let us start by understanding your mandate.
First of all, Uganda government has decentralized a lot in all aspects of government, and it made older persons a special interest group, and it categorized it and embedded it in the constitution and said whoever is 60 and above should be known as an older person. And through that kind of categorization, it embedded us in the constitution, but also made sure that it's not just a name, but it went with a lot of things. And the whole aim was to create inclusiveness and visibility within the context of Uganda framework, that yes, someone would know that is an old person, is catered for by government, and is considered in all aspects, beginning from the grassroots up to parliament and in cabinet.
Honorable, you've talked about inclusiveness and calling the older persons special interest groups. That means there is a lot of interest. Government has put in a lot to ensure that the older persons, those that you represent in parliament, are not left behind. Let's talk about the national strategy that is put in place, for example, to combat the elder abuse and the neglect within the society.
Well, of course, first of all, Uganda recognizes the International Day, which is on 15th June, abuse awareness within the context of the whole world. And for us, Uganda, we actually celebrate it and carry out a lot of activities to make sure that Elder Abuse Awareness Day is taken seriously by every citizen. And in the process, we have various activities, as our commissioner will explain, and they make sure that the elders themselves are actually involved in these activities prior to the day and immediately after, and sets even themes for that occasion. As the commissioner will explain today's theme, to know that yes, this is a local theme which actually applies to our people. So when this day comes, all of us, the department, the ministry are involved. And as you realize, we have decentralized. Every district has a district council for older persons. So we have about 150 older persons councils throughout the country. And on such a day, we invite all of them to convene wherever we decide. And this time is going to be in Kampala, capital city.
All right. Commissioner, according to the Honorable Minister's statements, indeed you're doing a lot as government, and we really have to appreciate. Let's talk about the awareness the Honorable is talking about and what you've done so far, because we do have elders. We've done stories here in UBC, and we have elders that are really crying out and they are saying they are left behind. What are you doing to bridge this gap to ensure that there is full inclusivity in all these other programs and engagements?
Thank you. Awareness, awareness, awareness. Awareness, as we see in the Bible and as we go to churches and mosques, every Sunday, every Friday, we have to keep repeating for people to be tied, to be connected to God or to their creators. So awareness is an ongoing process, and we are here to speak to the same. We have councils across the country, and for those who participated recently in elections, we have structures from village level. And lots of older persons are interested, overwhelmingly supported this call to ensure that they participate in leadership at village, at parish, at sub-county, at all levels. These are the different political parties who are trying to arrange. And we shall see a replica next year through the official electoral process. Already this tells you that the older persons know that they are supposed to be on board, they are supposed to be on the dining table. We have engaged the civil society. We have many organizations, civil society, that are outside there talking about the same cause. And maybe start with our mother law, the Constitution of Uganda, Article 32, specifically talks about older persons. It's enshrined, it's embedded to ensure that every Ugandan, every citizen outside there, Uganda or outside, should be able to understand that, oh, Uganda believes there must be integration, there must be concern, there must be respect, there must be someone there making sure the older persons are not left behind. We have different laws, different instruments to ensure that indeed we don't leave the older persons behind. Initially, there have been a debate, older persons are our elders, they are the heads of the families. What do you mean they are left behind? Because, they are the heads of families. They are the ones who own property. And that's why the awareness in terms of inclusivity, in terms of bringing the older persons on board, has remained sort of low, because there's an assumption that how can you make aware, how can you ensure inclusion of heads of families, the heads of property, the heads of the owners of assets in this country, the controllers of property and assets. So that's why it's assumed that's low, but indeed we are on it, and we are going to continue pushing for it, because under the modernization, under the Western culture coming on board, in social gerontology we are seeing a lot of problems. In geriatrics we are seeing a lot of problems, and as a country, that's why this year's theme is strengthening coordination. We think we need to hold our hands together with UBC, with different ministries, with everyone outside there watching UBC, hold hands with us, make sure that an older person somewhere who is not being taken as a priority, who is not being respected, whose dignity is being compromised, me and you, we must do something to protect their dignity, to ensure that they age decently.
All right. Honorable Minister, let's talk about how important are the older persons. I do remember last year on the floor of Parliament, you brought an idea of restoring the values and respect for elders, because young people in Uganda have failed to appreciate. Let us start from there. How far with this move so far?
You see, any nation that doesn't value its history is missing. Like now, in Uganda, as far as we are concerned, these are people who have lived. For instance, if you look at Uganda, and you say, who is an old person? Even Uganda as a country is an old country. It falls within our fraternity. We got independence in 1962. We have gone through 63 years and so on. So we are expected to be different. These old persons have the origin of culture. They also get through the turmoils that we have gone through. If you look at a young man and an old person, their mentation is not the same. The old person will, for instance, value the NRM government for the peace it has brought and the socio-economic transformation it has generated. Because when I was young, the sugar was not there, the soap was not there. But now you can't tell a young man about that and he believes. No, it's an obvious thing. It's something we shouldn't talk about. And if you talk about, if you give hands up for President Museveni, he won't understand. He doesn't see what he has done. So it's now the old people who carry the history and who have had experiences, especially under our contemporary time, from independence up to now. We have had a lot of changes and the revolutions and the turnover of many leaders. But as you realize, we can't live in the past. We must move on. Like now, we have to look at the economy. These old people have served. How do we cater for them? We look at social protection. How do we give them a dignified life? How do we mobilize our growth rate of the domestic product for us to be able to cater for these people? We can't lament, and we can't always depend on these other foreigners. You can see the attitude being developed. What is yours is yours. What is ours is not yours. And what is others, you can't depend on it. And that's the spirit that the NRM has created. Like now, we are looking at the parish development model, increasing productivity of agriculture. Emphasis on agriculture has been enhanced because we have the land, we are at the equator, the weather is good, we should be able to exploit and transform our society and give comfort to these old people. And whether you like it or not, as you age, you weaken. For instance, I used to play rugby, but now I can't. Not because I don't want, but the physical capacity has gone down. So, as far as we are concerned, we need a nation that can look at the overall picture and cater for everybody. And we want that intergenerational interactions and solidarity to be able to bring us together. I'll give you an example. I was in Mbala, I was invited by the youth, Balaam and so on. They had a very good dancing and so on. So he wanted me to dance with a young lady. But for me, I always walk with my young men. So I summoned my young man to dance with the young lady, but I gave the young lady a present at the end. So there are things you can't do when you are old, and yet you did them when you are young. Not that you don't want, but age doesn't permit. And that's why when I come here, I come with my commissioner, because he's young. I mean, in the whole of civil service, there's no commissioner who is older than me, because whoever reaches 60 goes. So I'm above 60, so I can't.
Honorable, before I cross to the commissioner, you talked about when you age, you weaken. Yes. Now, this is where the youths, the young people, come out and say, this is our time. Can these older persons give us space so that we see how best we can also transform this nation? What do you have to say about that?
But when I was introduced, when I was introducing the topic, I talked to you about inclusiveness and visibility. Okay. For instance, the young man can't represent me. He doesn't know my feelings. And that's where you must merit NRM government. He says, no, let's have special interest group. Let's have a young man. Let's have an old man. And so on. In the special interest group, we have the women, the youth, the people with disability, and the old people. And we are not the same. For instance, the fellow with disability is not the same as an old man. And for me, an old man, if you say I'm disabled, it's abusive because I'm normal. I'm normal, I can walk, I can eat, and so on. So that's why you can see that, yes, we must participate in governance. There shouldn't be exclusion because of our age. And that is the wisdom of the NRM government, that yes, it has given opportunity to all categories of the people in Uganda.
Thank you. Commissioner, let's talk about healthcare services. Let's talk about quality of life and independence of these older persons.
Thank you, but maybe to first close what my minister has just ended with. So this is what we call IGS model. The IGS model is the intergenerational solidarity model. So the honorable minister said instead of dancing Pakachin, he requested for some young person to, as a dangerous substitute, to push the dance ahead. So intergenerational solidarity is the way to go. It's the only way we shall solve what we call ageism. In social protection or in social gerontology, we have a big problem called ageism. That one can't, that one is a gone case. I don't think that one knows. He's already old. I don't think he can do it. Given his age, no, leave him alone.
That assumption.
That's ageism. That's assumption. And it's the same with children. So that man is young. You know, that's a young person, so his decision don't. But for older persons, it's worse because they are looked at as people who are not, whose reasoning capacity is already gone. And we are calling for intergenerational solidarity, that let's put our cards together on the table. The child, the youth, the woman, the older persons, they all have to contribute something, and then together we have solidarity, we have productivity, we have development that is inclusive, considering the ideas of a young person, an adult, and then an older person. So intergenerational solidarity is very critical. Health. Viewers, we have what we call geriatrics. Most people come to my office asking me, what do you mean by geriatrics? Geriatrics or geriatricians is the opposite of pediatricians. These are doctors who deal with older persons' issues. Pediatricians, we know them, that they deal with children. Viewers, we have a challenge, and that's why we are here with a theme called strengthening coordination. As a country, we must join our hands together to ensure that the health of our older persons, the health of our senior citizens is put in perspective. Geriatricians in this country, we don't have very many. We have about 3 or 4 with a population of over 2.3 million that require the services of geriatricians. We are pushing to ensure that government universities start courses in geriatrics, so that we have first degree in medicine, and then as we go into postgraduate courses, we have our young generation getting skills in geriatrics, skills in how to diagnose, skills on how to prescribe. Not just look at an older person and you think this is having an infection, this is having a disease. No, they are old age-related complications. They may not require drugs, they may not require antibiotics, but they require a certain way of life that this doctor, that this geriatrician would be specializing in. This goes hand in hand with what we call social gerontology. Social gerontology is the opposite of a geriatrician. A social gerontologist looks at the social well-being of an older person, goes home, assesses this older person who looks sickly, and prescribes in the social therapy. Social therapy whereby an older person is assessed and looked at. He tells a story of the preconditions before this person went into depression, went into stress, and we're able to tell what exactly this older person is suffering with. And viewers outside there, we call this secondary abuse. Later on, we are going to discuss the common forms of abuse against older persons. But what we see as we program is secondary abuse. Secondary abuse is where we have less social gerontologists offering home care services to our older persons, guiding them how to sleep, how to bathe in the morning, how to go for the washrooms, how many times they should bathe, which type of water, is it cold water, is it warm water, which drinks, which diets. And then we go to this case of promoting traditional medicine, herbal medicine. In social gerontology, we normally say older persons should be absent when it comes to antibiotics, because as they age, their immunity gets compromised, and their ability to handle antibiotics, of course, gets compromised. And as a country, we've been advocating for herbal medicine, and we are glad and happy that government has put in a lot of effort to ensure that most of these drugs are on the market, though we still need to do a lot to ensure that all health center 3s across the country are doing a lot. Listeners outside there, we have been assured by Ministry of Health that the decentralization for old age-related supplies and services is on course. Testing for diabetes, testing for hypertension, and many others. In this coming financial year, it's going to be a basic need, a basic service at all health facilities, health center 3s and health center 4s, because that's where most of our older persons are. The tourism in health, whereby older persons are all the time on the bus coming to Kampala. We have a lot of congestion in the city, driving to different hospitals, and older persons are the ones who are becoming the permanent co-drivers. It's something we want to tackle. It's an abuse, as I said, because if by omission or commission we are not doing what we are supposed to do for older persons, we are calling it tertiary or secondary abuse.
Commissioner, before I cross back to the Honorable Minister,
yep.
Due to the weakened family system, we've been talking about the health sector, how best it can be put in line to ensure that older persons are really assisted. Do you think this will also serve a good purpose, because the Ministry of Gender had plans to start regulating these care homes?
Yes, we have conducted research, and what's coming out is that we no longer have to condemn institutionalization or establishment of homes. We actually now, based on research, we are going to be entering public-private partnerships with private sector promoters of homes for older persons, the physiotherapy homes, the speech therapists, the homes that deal with conditions like dementia and many others. So as opposed to the previous thinking that our extended family system will take care of an older person in a home setting, research findings outside there are tell us that we may have to incorporate aspects of the Western world where we need to start looking at outreaches in homes, but also for special cases, we have this person in a home where he's getting closer monitoring, closer attention. In a few weeks or months, time goes back to home. And then we have geriatrics, trained geriatric assistants going at home, checking, training the caretakers at home, and the like. But of course, we have compulsory education system that indeed has weakened our situation. Every good thing comes with a side effect. The side effect of getting all children at school is that the older persons at home then have no one to take care of them. So we are indeed in a Western era where we no longer have people that are just there to look at older persons, take care of them. And the reality is that then we may have to do a strategic shift and say, okay, homes can be temporary shelters where older person can check in, get assessed, get some physiotherapy, get a bit of first aid, then go back home. then we can follow up, and then back in the home. So the community homes, sub-regional homes, to ensure that the services of older persons in terms of social gerontology and geriatrics are very critical, and indeed the new policy of older persons and the incoming act or law on older persons is going to be specifically promoting geriatric services, it's going to be promoting social gerontology, it's going to be promoting public-private partnership in running of homes for older persons.
Honorable Minister, before we take the break, I'm seeing a number of questions and comments that are really coming in on our WhatsApp number. Let's talk briefly about pensions and financial support, because this is where very many people have questions about money that older persons receive monthly. They want to be to increase. How best are you looking into this as government to ensure that something is added on top of the 25, is it 25,000?
Yeah.
Yes, that is given to the older persons per month.
Before we go to that, I wanted to comment something on health.
Please.
You see, as much as government is helping, we are also trying the elders themselves to help themselves. And we have negotiated with Liberty Insurance. If you pay 36,000 per year, they'll give you a coverage of 2 million.
Okay.
If you pay 60,000, they'll give you a coverage per year of 3 million. You see, these non-communicable diseases are rampant. Diabetes, hypertension, cervical, and prostate. But we think if a fellow has that coverage, can get these daily drugs affordable, and at the same time, it forces that person to also test and that kind of thing, and they may help him to get that machines. So to add on what he told us, we are also looking at the ways, because you see government has its priorities. It is saying we are looking at agriculture productivity, we are looking at enhancing scientists' salaries, we are looking at oil, we are looking at production in industry, but we can't sit and say until government is ready. But we also must encourage these elders to help themselves. Now that PDM is on, they are making some money. They can afford these things.
Okay.
Now, to go back to...
Honorable, kindly, please, allow me go for a short commercial break. When we return, you come back on that very point of financial support and the pension schemes, and also answer the questions that are really coming through after the break. Don't go away.
This is the Front Bench.
Uganda Development Forum, in partnership with Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, is organizing a 2-day Musevenomics Conference on the 29th and 30th of May 2025. The conference is dedicated to exploring Uganda's revolutionary economic model under the theme, Sustaining Musevenomics, hence navigating Uganda's economic future in a disrupted world. His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and the Chairman of Uganda Development Forum, General Salim Saleh, will lead a team of distinguished speakers in economics and development. The Musevenomics Conference 2025 is sponsored by Uganda Development Forum in partnership with Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, Uganda Development Corporation, Parish Development Model, and Operation Wealth Creation.
Buza Commissioner, enhancing tax education and bringing it closer to the taxpayers. Many Ugandans have questions about the taxes they pay to URA.
When we come at revenue, they tell us to clear Chitenge at 10,000. And when we are selling Chitenge, we sell it at 17. So we don't know whether we are working or not.
Understanding your tax obligations can help you grow your business and avoid unnecessary losses. Now, you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887, and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Buza Commissioner.
Fellow countrymen and women, These are our ministers and permanent secretaries at the front bench, representing the various ministries and answering the questions that matter to us. Join the conversation. This is the front bench.
This is the front bench. Welcome back from that short commercial break. Before we went for the break, the Honorable Minister was going to talk about the pensions and financial support. The pension schemes, do they adequately support the elderly in covering basic living expenses? I think let's start from there before we go to your questions and comments. Honorable Minister. Please.
You see, as I told you, as much as we are the eldest, but we are the latest special interest group. And within the time we have survived, government has done a lot for us. First of all, we have people who are 8 and above. They are given 25,000 shillings per month. And we normally give them every quarter. And we are catering for 300 and almost 50,000 per year. And we are looking at 121 billion shillings. And this is a grant. You are given that money, you don't pay back. But also, the government also looks at those people who are 60 to 79. We have what we call SEGOP, Special Enterprise Grant for Older Persons. These are in groups. It is still in small amounts. It was supposed to be 10 billion, but we are able to get 5 billion per year. And you find that every district in the country has been catered for. And then, of course, finally, you have PDM, Parish Development Model. We had been left out, but we struggled hard, and we were given 10%. Originally, it was the women, 30%, the youth, 30%, general, 30%, and people with disability, 10%. They reduced the men and gave us 10%. And now 10% of 5 trillion in 5 years is 500 billion, and this is a lot of money. And every year we get 100 billion, and every parish gets 10 million. And our job is to monitor and ensure the old people are getting this money. And my monitoring has shown, for instance, I've been to Bukedea, I've been to Busia, I've been to here, Kampala, and many other districts. They are getting even more than 10%, which means they are encroaching into the women and so on. So we really see that this inclusiveness has brought us out. Our old people are getting this money, and they are also getting into the economy. And when you are looking at an old person, you are not looking at money to buy a car. It is sustainable income. In the pocket, he can buy sugar, he can buy medicine, can pay for border. When his fellow old person comes, can give a cup of tea. So that is what we call a normal life, and so on. Of course, when you come to the pension people are not the majority. The majority of the people are not pensionable. Because as you realize, if you took the statistics, most of the older persons are not even urbanite. They are upcountry. But still, the government, either those former teachers or former they are giving them their pension, and they are getting it regularly. We have a few problems here and there we are handling, but whoever has worked, he normally ends up with his gratuity, and after that, gets a monthly pension. But because of inflation, that money is not enough. And we encourage these people to get into husbandries, like rearing chicken, piggery, goats, and milk. And some of them are doing it, and so on. For instance, if a fellow is retiring, he gets a big amount of gratuity. We try to help them to plan that transitional stage. Because that accumulated money, if it goes not well planned for, it will never come back. And the fellow may never get that kind of money. But we think that when we go through these 4 priorities I told you, where even oil is concerned, the pension amounts will increase, and also the government will be reviewing. You see, when the government has plenty, it will also give plenty. So we can see it's a process, which process is ongoing.
Okay, we do have Maiki Emma from Namisindwa district, Bukaweka sub-county. He's saying giving them money for old people, but the money doesn't reach the people. I do not know how true, honorable, that is. What is the ministry doing about health insurance for the older people above 70, whose insurance companies will not give health insurance even when it is sought in a private capacity? When will that segregation in that sector be tackled?
You see, first of all, this money we give, we monitor it. And you must have seen His Excellency saying that these people who abuse this money, the police shouldn't give them bond. Neither should court give them bail. So it's a process. Anything good comes with whatever it is and some challenges and so on. So we are trying. Eventually we are perfecting it, and we should be able to overcome it. The other issue can be answered by the Commissioner.
Yes, please.
Thank you. We have robust systems for checking money, especially SAGE. We pay 75,000 every 3 months. We pay it once. It goes to the beneficial account. Any money for other persons goes to their accounts. When they miss the centenary van in the community, the money is still on their account intact. It's not money lost. It's available on your account. And effective last year, when you miss a pay point, when you miss a pay day, you still go to the bank and cash out and get your money. So everyone who thinks that when he misses the van in the community because he's in a hospital or is somewhere else, please feel free to go to the Centenary Bank and get your money. SEGOP, the 5 million given to 5 older persons, the money goes to their account. It can't get lost anywhere because it goes direct. Unlike other programs where funds can go through the district and others, no. For older persons, because of the sensitivity, because of government wants to treat them as a special group, to respect them with their dignity, money goes direct to these people's accounts. We also have an enterprise manual to guide them how to come up with business. So we are supplementing what NSSF is doing. For those who have gone to school, NSSF is pushing how they can do their retirement planning. And then we have an enterprise manual for the informal sector, those who didn't see the chalkboard so much, but we have also enterprises suited for that group. Regarding insurance, we are working with Uganda Insurance Regulatory Authority. It's not true that we are denied the insurance package, but what is true is that the premium is high when it comes to an older person. The costing is high. I think globally, it's not a Ugandan challenge. Globally, when you are buying the premium for an older person, in America, it's been very expensive. So we are engaging Uganda Insurance Regulatory Authority on how best we can have subsidies, but also the Honorable Minister has negotiated with some of the private insurers. We are doing a pilot in Western Uganda and some parts of Central region. We are hoping that by next year, if the pilot goes through, we take it to cabinet, whereby you pay your 36,000 and you are entitled to a 2 million package to get from the health service provider. It's the first time we are getting insurance companies coming up front to say we can insure those above 70 years and all that. So it's possible. And for those who are not taken on as individuals for one reason or the other, feel free to have sort of a family company. You go in as a company, so you buy the premium, you buy the package as a company, not as an individual. It is the same with loans. Many older persons outside, they have been denied access to loans. The crime they have committed to be discriminated is because they are above 60. What we are encouraging as we try to negotiate with Bank of Uganda and the entire financial ecosystem is to ensure that older persons with your family, with your friends form a company. go for a loan as a company, get your son or granddaughter to be a guarantor, and that one is clear. We already have negotiated that, and should be able to get you finances or your insurance.
Commissioner, there is another one for you here.
Yep.
JETHRO in Njeru. The district is asking, why is the benefits for the old people, why does it reduce every year that passes? It was 100K, now at 70K. How true is this?
Well, he may have to clarify, send another WhatsApp message to be clear,
maybe.
because that's not clear. It's not part of our package.
All right, thank you. The program is spot on. We elderly persons have been recognized and praised the leadership of President Museveni and the minister. This is a comment from Cyrus Joseph from Katakwi district. Another one is appreciating. Thanks for the show. Could the minister repeat the name of the insurance company the older persons can use to insure their health? This is Irene from Entebbe.
Yeah, this is Liberty Insurance.
Liberty Insurance.
And we can assist if you give
contact our office.
Contact our commissioner, Prosper Muhumuza, who will give more details.
Okay, thanks for the program. Gideon Ayozu from Arua. I would like to inquire about involvement of the Elders Council in the protection of pension and gratitude of elderly people in the communities. Gideon Ayozu from Arua.
The viewers outside there, 5-10 years ago, we used to have, it used to be like a crowd, a voting day at Wandegea public service, because people would line up in Wandegea for pensions, and lines would go up to Wandegea, really, where people were struggling, sleeping in Kampala, trying to process their pension. And the government took a decision, they took a reform. Some years back, we now decentralized pensions, and we have received reports of really transparency and free and seamless access to pensions. We have received a few reports of very stubborn and reckless HR officers in some districts who are still disturbing our older persons when they are accessing their gratuity or their pensions. So I think the person from West Nile is trying to see how best we can connect the Council for Older Persons to monitor that part. With the minister, we can work out a circular. Next week, we send a circular to all chief administrative officers and clearly spell out the role of the councils for older persons in providing oversight, ensuring that there is free access to the pensions.
Good evening, my dear Honorable. Why can't government reduce the age of getting the money from 80 to 70 years? This is Mokombozi.
You see, this issue has been coming.
Yes.
Like I told you, we have 4 priorities. Agriculture productivity. We are also looking at enhancing scientists' salaries. We are looking at industry, and we are looking at oil. Now, we think when we achieve this, we shall have a bigger budget, and we shall be in a position to reduce the age and increase the amount. Because if you reduce the age, you have more people, you need more money. And if you increase the amount, you need more money. So, and also when I'm in cabinet, I have also collective responsibility. I can't say you should prioritize only the older person's things. There are certain things I have to concede. I say, okay, if you have given this, I can wait for this. But we are working towards this, and we think as the economy improves, you can see the growth rate now by IMF now is 7.5%. So it means we are generating more money, more resources, and with time, the age will reduce and the amount will be increased. We need some patience.
Okay, Honorable, another one for you. Whereas there is, this is Robert Kisa from Mumbale. My question is to Honorable, whereas there is programs to enhance social protection and inclusion for older persons deep in the villages, there are ignorant and illiterate older persons who are not cognizant of these programs, especially in Namisindwa district, where he comes from. What is being done to ensure that these ignorant older persons are aware of these programs?
You see, first of all, I've moved the whole country. Our old people are not as ignorant as he says. In actual fact, when you address the people, all of them are literate, and all of them even know English. The issue is, through our district councils, we pass out this information, and even circulars. And all these old people know the existence of SAGE, they know the existence of SEGOP, and we have focal community development persons at every district, and so on. And for instance, I'll give you an example, like my constituency, Eastern. I have a political assistant, and I normally, on the radio, give them his number. I say, if you want to require anything, get in touch with this. I have an office in Mbale. I have an office in Jinja. I have an office in Wandegea for accessibility, and also political assistants are there to assist these people. So eventually, that Namisida fellow should come to my Mbale office. He gets my political assistant. He's on 0778-365-365. He's called Akileo Dudley, and he will definitely assist him in whatever problems he has.
Maybe to supplement on that, any other person who needs information on government programs should contact the parish chief, the sub-county community development officer. Those two are near. If he doesn't know, the chairperson of the council for other persons at the parish and at the village level. And the person in Namisunda, he has to know that I have a list of all groups with their phone numbers who have got money for SEGOP, who have got money for SAGE, and who have, for SEGOP, we have 100% uptake of the grants. For SAGE, we have 99% of people taking their money, with a few cases who don't turn up just because of sickness and the like. So we think we have done a lot, but as I said before, information, communication is daily bread, and no worry, we are going to continue to sensitize our masses.
Okay, George Barasa, Busia Municipality Elders Forum, is the chairman. Thank you so much for watching. Commissioner, our time is fast spent. Let's talk about technology and accessibility as we wrap up from your side.
Yes. So we have the Vienna Plan of Action of 1982, and from that Vienna Plan of Action, all countries across the world, including Uganda, ratified it and made sure that we configure it into our architecture for planning. Increasingly, technology is becoming the tool that everyone needs to move with. AI is on. People are speaking. Actually, we thought we can be here, use AI to communicate, not the physical person here, and that's where we're going. From our operations research, we see that inclusive technology is the way to go for our older persons. We have done some studies. While it's easy and seamless for the class that have seen the chalkboard over the years, we also acknowledge that our dear and respectable grandfathers and grandmothers outside the urban areas, and those who never went too much into the education system, the ecosystem and the architecture of the technology that is being pushed into our economies is not yet cognizant of the fact that we may not have what it takes to come on board. So we have 20% population of older persons who are seamless when it comes to consuming the technology that is on board. But we have about 70% or 60% or so who are still outside there. One, financial inclusion. We have tested it. We see a big number of our older persons forgetting their PIN numbers when it comes to getting money through mobile money. We have seen most of them struggling when it comes to using the smartphones and many other products. So what we are telling the promoters of technology, what we are telling the people who are designing the technology is to ensure that the technology is user-friendly to our senior citizens, use of biometrics instead of using the pins, which require someone remembering, use of aids to communicate. So we think we are going to be there. We are already working on the strategy which is technologically inclusive, digital inclusion of older persons, which was a theme 5 years ago. We are going to be sharing it with the media houses to communicate it to our senior citizens as we go into retirement planning to ensure that we do it. Lastly, for me, is when you see many people saying, when can you lower the age so that even those 60, 65, 70 get money? It sends a strong message to us, the young people outside there viewing UBC. Retirement planning. Retirement planning starts today. You are a graduate at 23 years, 24 years, 25. Know that you should start saving a coin today, so that at 70 years, you are actually donating and not maybe looking for a granddaughter, a grandson to do it. I'm preparing the young generation that the 80 years of your life, when you are 100 years or 90 years or 80 years, you shape it today at 20 years, at 30, at 23.
Okay, Honorable Minister.
Yeah.
Our time is fast spent, but in about 2 to 3 minutes, a lot of questions and comments are still coming in. Maybe you will help me explain to people how best can they really be assisted, because you shall not answer all their questions and comments. But as you answer that, what else do you have for the older persons? Because I understand, yes, you're aged and you're still aging, and you will be leaving office tomorrow. Will you be happy, or are you happy with the system that you're leaving in place for the older persons as we wrap up?
Thank you very much. In actual fact, we have moved well.
Okay.
The country has recognized us, and it has given what goes with recognition, a budget. And it has involved us in budgeting and appropriation, because we have even MPs in parliament. We have district councils in the local government, and so on, up to the grassroots. But also, we are in a transitional period. Like now, artificial intelligence. By the time you are an old man as myself, it will be a normal thing. But as we are now, it's conspicuous. The old people are not for it. So for us, we have set the foundation. We can see all these things sprouting. People like my commissioner, for them, they are in it, and they are able to leverage our people and bring them nearer what it should be. All these things and the questions that have come up, they need to be answered by us, and we have the answers.
Right.
Like I said, for instance, we have our commissioner. He'll give them how they can get in touch with him. But politically in the field, I have the political assistant, who is known as Leo Dudley. He's on 0778-365-365. And we have answered many questions on this. I also come on UBC literally every fortnight and address my people in English and in my local language. But I'm also co-opting in my Itesot people, because when I talk Lugishu, Msoga can understand, and the Samia. But I'm getting in the Itesots and the Chapadolas, so that there's no information that is missed. Okay. And also I must thank UBC. We've done a lot with them. Literally every week we are on the program, either myself, either him, or and so on. And we can see the messages going. Like now, we have gone into the campaign. We've done a lot for these people, and we are telling them that, look, for you to judge us, this is what we have done.
All right. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. Our time is fast spent. Please, in a few seconds.
The World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, or the World Day Against Elder Abuse. Uganda is joining the rest of the world, and we are commemorating on Sunday, 15th June. The venue is KCCA grounds, and you're all welcome. Speeches, more information about what we are discussing will be given, and our older persons, well-respected people, will be dancing for us, giving us what we miss, the oldies. Lastly, we have a toll-free line, 116, where in case you have an issue as an older person, someone is disturbing you, someone is dealing with your rights or not respecting you, dial 116 and we should be able to come to your rescue. Thank you, UBC.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. Thank you so much, Road Minister, for sparing time. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it from the policymakers. Indeed, they have a lot in stock, planning for the older persons, but not only older persons. They talked about the inclusivity, the women, the men, the young people, the youths, people with disabilities. Every Ugandan has to be part of this. My name is JETHRO KASAIGI. From me and the entire team, it's a good night.
Oh, Uganda, may God uphold thee. We lay our future in thy hand. United, free for liberty, together we'll always stand. Oh, Uganda, the land of freedom, our love and labor we give, and with neighbors all at our country's call, in peace and friendship we'll live. Oh, Uganda, the land that feeds us by sun and fights our soul grow. For our own dear land, we'll always stand. The pile of Africa's
Fellow countrymen and women, these are our ministers and permanent secretaries at the front bench, representing the various ministries and answering the questions that matter to us. Join the conversation. This is the front bench.